Hello and welcome to another episode of Whatever's Cool, the show where we talk about anything and everything that is cool in the world today. I am total non-stop annoyance Daniel Paul Crow, and on this episode, we have a sit-down interview with the lit prince, John Stop Action. We're talking about how a breakout led him into the world of professional wrestling, as well as the events that led to him debuting with Adrenalin Pro Wrestling, and just everything that's happened since then. So sit back, relax, and enjoy What If Lit's Cool. John, thank you so much for being a part of our show. Now, I also have to make mention, and I'm sorry for people who are not watching to listen to this. What If It's Cool management have given me some glasses that they got from a APW show to wear for their entire show, which is your merchandise. Let's have a look.
Massive improvement. You look fantastic.
How the hell do you see in these things? Gee.
I won't lie. The real deal, like these ones, you can't see anything.
Oh my god, they are. I thought there was going to be like some and again, sorry for people who are listening, something like this where you can actually see right through. But that's how the hell do you even walk in those things when you're going into the crowd?
I feel the audience's energy. No, I'm joking. No. I've learnt to look down when I walk, which is really hard when you try and engage with the crowd, because I can see where my feet are going and stuff, but I have to try and balance it. There was one show where like I was going for the high fives because I saw people's hands out and I was going, and I was about 30 centimeters off their hand. So I was yeah, that was pretty crazy. I was like, and then I turned to them, I'm like, guys, I can't see a damn thing in these. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna look next time we see you on any show. I'm gonna make sure that if we do a high five, we're gonna be really, really close. So bang, we'll just go right.
Oh no, I've perfected it now.
Oh, you perfected it now.
Yeah. Like that was only my second show. Like,
right.
It's taken me a solid year, but I've got the high fives down pat in terms of gauging where people's hands are.
Well, just seeing that now, that's how killed the mystique for me now, because I really thought you could see through those things. So I really wanted to get them. Now I don't want to get anything like that. But these glasses, I'll go with them.
Look, these ones are pretty cool though, in terms of the fact that like I can make them say anything. Like in my last match, I literally said I was going to be the John Stop champion, so I can customize them. It keeps them engaging.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So how did you get into the industry, and who inspired you?
Yeah, so I've liked wrestling since I was like 11. So like I grew up watching people like John Cena, Randy Orton, and back then I was like John Cena all the way because my name's John.
Yeah.
So as a kid, you identify with that stuff really quickly. Like same with John Morrison as well. I love that dude. Getting into the industry, so I had a bad breakup and I was looking for a new outlet. I went to America. I went to WrestleMania. And I was like I spent a lot of money. I was like 8th row from the ring.
Which WrestleMania were you at?
35. So the triple threat.
Oh, you bastard! That was a good event.
That was actually a really good show. Yeah. I was very thankful. It was probably one of the better WrestleManias in that time. So I was very blessed to go at a great time. I came back and I was like, all right, I kind of want to do this now. So that's where I finally took the step. I'm very fortunate in having people I know in my life that did wrestling for years. So one of my best friends growing up, his older brother is actually Richie Taylor. So I'd go to an MCW show here and there. I'd be like, hey, Richie, what do I need to do? Like, I kind of want to start wrestling, but I looked at myself and I'm like, I'm not really in shape or anything. And this went on for months. I was like, dude, I don't know if I should do this or not. And Richie's like, just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, like, if anything, get fit while you do it. But like, you're gonna be okay. Just give it a try. See if you like it. Um,
I like the fact that when people say, they're not in shape or anything, I'm just like, have you ever seen photos of, like, especially like Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, even Andre, back when they were very young, they were not in the best of shape. But like, in particular, Ric Flair was pretty beefy, and yet, look what he looks like now, and especially when he was at his peak. I'm not just like, it's a work in progress. You never look like that when you first start.
no, exactly, exactly. And like, over the past, wow, it's almost been 4 years. I've definitely worked on being more in shape, and it's just I've started to accept what I look like, and I actually start liking who I am. So it's definitely something I recommend to anyone. Just if you want to try wrestling or anything in life, just the first step is to try it, no matter what you think, no matter if you think you're going to fail, no matter if you think you're going to get hurt. You just got to give everything a try in life.
Exactly. I mean, you never go if you never know. If you, sorry, my old
No,
man used to
no,
say, you never know if you never go, and it's a good
exactly,
saying. Yeah. Well,
absolutely.
how did you? So you got into the industry 4 years ago. When exactly did you debut?
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. I was actually going to say on the subject of Richie, if you don't mind.
Mm.
So for whatever reason, he assumed that I lived in the western suburbs. uh, I've always been a southeastern boy. I was whether it be Carrum, Seaford, Frankston, whatever. But he thought I was in the western suburbs because that's where a lot of my friendship group was.
Yeah.
So he sent me to George Julio's at NAW.
Mm.
So that's like Sunbury. So
Holy crap, that's far.
Sunbury, Sunshine. I think it's one of them. But yeah, he sent me out that way, and then there was a time when there was an APW show, and I was like, "Hey man, I'm going to your show," and Richie's like, "Dude, that is way too far." And then I sent him a screenshot of Google Maps, and I was like, "Dude, it's around the corner. I'm going." And he's like, "Oh, APW have a tryout. You should probably go to that."
Mm.
But yeah, debuting. Wow. So I trained since about August, July, 2019.
Mm.
So yeah, we're coming on 4 years almost. If I've done my math correctly, it's 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Um, but unfortunately, just about the time where I was ready to have a match, a little pandemic happened, and that kind of stuffed me around a few times. Um, Essentially, my debut got delayed about 4 or 5 times due to Melbourne lockdowns. So every time I was ready, it was like, yeah, we're in lockdown, and we're in lockdown. And all right, November 2021 rolls around, and it's like, all right, we can have a match. Let's do it.
Now, for somebody who has that sort of thing happen to them, do you take it as a sign that maybe the stars aren't aligned for you on that one, or do you just go, okay, it's just not my time, just keep training, and then it's eventually going to come in?
Oh, I had a bit of doubt in terms of whether it's just going to happen or not for me because the way I look at it is like this year I turned 27.
Mm.
I'm like, damn, I'm losing my prime years of like doing this like slowly, slowly, slowly. It's like it's wearing me out. I just want to get in there already. But ultimately, no, I'd always just keep trying because I don't care what level I do this. I do it for fun. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's very, very, very good to hear, man. Because like I think for anybody these days, if they, if it doesn't happen, I mean, even after the third try, I mean, it's just like, why bother, And you've done really well, but by just being persistent and just keep going and going. So, hats off to you, my friend. So you talk about your gimmick, John Stop Action. Where did that sort of come about, and why didn't you call? Why didn't what? I know it's JSA. Why didn't you call yourself JAS so you can get some of that Jericho money?
Well, for starters, I came up with John Stop Action well before JAS was a thing, so I didn't
Mm.
even think of the Jericho money back then. It was
Ah.
my I was I guess the fortunate side of having the pandemic happen was I had a lot of time to myself to think, and I spent that time brainstorming different ideas. I had a full t-shirt that was going to rip off TNA. I had designed, yeah, based off the TNA logo because that's where the name
Wow.
That's where the name came from. Yeah, because I was a total TNA mark back in 2007, 2008.
Oh,
Just
who wasn't?
after it.
Who wasn't? Like,
Yeah.
it was a great time to be a wrestling fan. I mean, you had WWE, but TNA were just doing some really great action out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was really drunk at the time when I came up with the
Oh my
name.
god.
This is a theme throughout my career, by the way. It's not any great idea I've had. I've usually had some sort of alcohol in my system. So
Can I just make this perfectly clear to all the little kiddies that are listening or watching this right now? We do not condone alcohol. Let's just make this perfectly clear. Sometimes you get some great ideas from alcohol, but 9 times out of 10, it's not good for your body. So kids, don't do it.
correct, correct. And yeah, so I came up with John Stop Action after a night out in the Gold Coast. And I was just going to use it as a tagline. I wasn't going to use it as my name.
Mm.
And then a few months passed. So I had just for the listeners, I had a half sister in the Gold Coast. So that night I actually saw her, and then I went out and got even more drunk. Anyway, I'm not condoning it. That actually ended up being the last time I would ever see my sister, because a few months later she passed. So
Oh.
I yeah, I changed my tagline to my name because she was a really fun, loving person. I was like, John Stop Action's a fun name, so I shifted the tagline to the name, and I was like, you know what, I like it. And I whether I change names ever or not, that's up to, I guess, promoters and myself if I feel I need to change the gimmick. I'm not looking to. But yeah, so JSA came around, and then I was like, all right, cool. I've got a little bit of something here. I've got something. I was like, what song do I come out to? And I'm like, damn, there is nothing. Everyone on the roster's playing like rock, metal. And I'm like, okay, I need something different. And I was looking at rap, and I was like, okay, rap artists tend to talk about themselves in raps as well. You always hear DJ Khaled saying, "We the best," and Eminem, he'll start talking about himself and his experiences. So
Yeah.
I hit up a friend that I used to work with. He's now signed to Sony. So I was like, cool, I need hey bro, any chance you could do a song for me? And we workshopped, and then we got it mastered and all that stuff. And yeah, that's how the John Stop Action song came around. And I was
Right.
like, okay. I was like, okay, cool. Because this is original. No one else is going to use this song. It's mine. Um, and then I got the video clip done, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. There's neon lights and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Not to be confused with the great tag team in APW of Valito and Jake Nero. But anyway, I had a neon light kind of thing in my video. And I was like, okay, cool. So the only things left I really had, the only thing left was gear. And I was playing a lot of Rocket League over COVID. So I took a lot of inspiration from the game, and that's how I designed the gear.
Oh,
I got
right.
that made literally, it got delivered to me 2 days before my match.
Oh,
um
okay.
but yeah, before
That's
my
very
debut.
close. Very, very
Yeah, I was
close.
cutting it fine. And then again, I don't condone this. I was at a Bucks night early 2022 for my good friend Valito.
Mm.
There was another person there celebrating his Bucks, and he kept saying, "It's lit." And the whole room, and there was about 100 people in the room and stuff, because it was like an establishment where you'd have like 4 or 5 different groups
Yeah.
down there, and each of them had their buck kind of deal. And then we'd all like do start saying it along with him, and I was like, okay, I can make this into something, because I've probably got the right gimmick. I mean, it's lit became like a saying almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I feel like I could do something with this, even though like it's a 10-year-old thing. Like I might be able to make this work, and I guess I have, because like I started doing the lit print stuff later on. The lit prints only became a thing because I needed to be more of a character. I need to find that thing that makes me going. And I took inspiration from, I mean, if you look at, you can see my pants behind me, that I wore them in a hardcore match with James Marshall. I loved the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be like a hardcore Will Smith. So I was like, okay, cool. So I got them painted. I'm starting to ramble, bro. I'm sorry.
No, but
but there's so
what
much
are
in
you
this
saying?
gimmick.
It's just in my head now. I'm just pitching you come out to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's music, and you just go like that with your glasses, just like that, and just digging it. You're like, I'm not thinking of you being a face. I'm thinking of you being a heel, and just like being so cocky and just putting your arms like that and just going lit. I don't know why they just popped in my head. I think it's these glasses. I think they're just way too infectious. That was the
You
first thing
feel
that
it.
in my head. Yeah, I'm feeling it, but I'm old, mate. Like I don't like even saying the word lit. It's just ugh. Oh God. Oh, that's a bit of a tangent on itself. But we are. I mean, we are sort of rambling. But what about your first match? Because obviously, all this has happened before you've got to your first match. What actually happened in your first match? Who it was, and what did you learn from it?
Okay, so my first match also changed a few times every delay. We finally got there in July, and then that was the match. It was going to be myself teaming with Nova Nichols and against the Valentines. So Broderick and Carmen, they were heels at the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a couple weeks before the match, because the match got delayed until November. Unfortunately, a couple weeks before the match, Natasha got injured. So we replaced her with Miss Fortune because Nova Nichols and Miss Fortune.
I was at this match. I remember this now because like when you were saying this, I'm thinking, hang on, why does this all sound familiar? I was there. Yeah, you were fantastic, and you were fantastic.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, so Nova Nichols and Miss Fortune had a long history, so it was the most logical person to sub in for the match. I love everyone in that match. I love Natasha on the outside. I love Broderick. I've grown to know him a bit better since then as well. I trained with Nova and Miss Fortune multiple times. Like they were always at training with me. Miss Fortune's fantastic. She's one of my dearest friends. So it was really cool to like have a match with so many people I love and appreciate to be around. The match itself going in, I was confident, but I was also nervous because a lot of people, when they have their first match, they still don't really know who they are. And although I did make tweaks to my gimmick after the match, I came in pretty confident in what I was doing in terms of, okay, I want to be this party guy. I'm going to go do this, this, and this. But then the nerves hit. The nerves hit about an hour before the match. I was like, okay, all right, this is getting a bit real. I've waited 2.5 years for this moment. 2.5 years for this moment. And I'm like, what if I botch? But yeah, and then the music hits and I'm like, all right, cool, let's go to work. And it was a great match. I worked really well with Broderick. I listened. I did my job as a babyface, let the heel call the match. And then I did quite a lot in that match too. I remember like, okay, spot, rest, spot. And then, yeah, he had rolled me up and I was like, amazing. The thing that I always take away from that match is the feeling after. Because you were there. I don't know if you remember, but the first time people chanted JSA, I was like, I'm nobody, you know. I'm like, this is hi, John Stop Action day one here. Where's the what's going on? You guys actually care about me? What? I went into the crowd because this was like before intermission as well, and like people coming up to me. I'm like, what is going on? But yeah, I feel really good about that match. I think I had one of a very good first match. So
I think that's incredible because you don't really hear that many people who debut especially in their very, very first match, to get that kind of reaction. And that just proves one thing, your ability to just empower a crowd. But the other thing of that, other flip of that coin is just how popular you can be, and everyone can see that your future potential.
No, absolutely. One thing I should credit as well is APW as a whole, because before the venue that that we were doing shows in, we used to run in a breakouts in like a small factory. I'm talking like 50 people is a sold out crowd. So we as a company have come a long way. To be able to do shows like that. Breakouts sell out fairly regularly now because the fans are invested in all the characters, not just me, but we all do our job and we all, bring the product up. So it's pretty cool to see that that Breakout has come such a long way. I used to do ring announcing in the old factory. I did it like maybe 2-3 shows before we relocated to the current one. And you'd see a few empty chairs and you'd be like, damn, that's probably about 30 people in here. I've heard stories of like 5 people. It's a hard time, but now I'm fortunate that we have a fairly decent following at the moment. So to get that reaction on your first night, it's pretty humbling.
Oh yeah. Oh, and one side of that as well, I've actually been in a crowd where there's only 3 people. I'm not going to say which promotion it was. It was a really interesting night. But everyone that was on that particular show treated it as if it was a complete sellout, and hats off to them when you do something like that. Because I think what we forget, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in, whether it be in the wrestling industry, music industry, all that kind of stuff, entertainment. It doesn't matter how many people there. It comes down to your performance, and if you treat it as if it's big sellout show, that's how you're always going to win the crowd, and then that's always going to be that one person's going to turn a 2, and then the 2 is going to be, it's just going to be rippled, and that's the way you do it. And anyone who's listening, who is going to be doing shows for whatever, just remember, it doesn't matter how many people are there; it's how you perform.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So what's been your favorite match so far?
Okay. So I've got it's a really hard question for me to answer because realistically I've had about 12 to 16 matches, 12 in APW. I've got 2 favorite opponents. I can't really say matches because I've been fortunate because we care about the stories. I've had 2 great rivalries this year alone. I had James Marshall earlier this year. Yep. Favorite match out of that was No Holds Barred because I bled a lot. And It was just a fun culmination of the story because that was actually an 18-month story. It was a story that happened before I actually had a match. So there was a lot of build there, and it culminated. It was a great moment at Breakout 30. Working with Kris is fantastic.
Yeah.
He is amazing heel. I can't say enough good things about him. But yeah, that last match I worked at Breakout End of the Road with Kris Law. That's a proud moment for me because most of the time I'd worked with Law, he was calling a lot of the match. That match was mostly my structure, and he let me take the lead on that match, and I was really humbled when he let me. I kicked out of the Demon's Road, so that's his finisher. Like, no one's done that before, so I was like, all right. I didn't think he'd ever let anyone do that because Kris Law is very old school.
Yeah.
But yeah, he let me be the one, and I was like, damn, thanks, man. And then he hit me. He hit me with a sweet Destino, and we went home. But yeah, I was really proud of that match. So yeah, that's sort of the 2 that stick out for me.
Yeah, speaking of that, I know we haven't released the broadcast of that particular event yet, but that was the match that I called as the match of the night. I know other people will say, oh, it might have been this and this and this. Everyone was the whole card was stacked and absolutely fantastic. But your match, I don't know what it was. I don't know. It was just because it was just very infectious and I was just really feeling everything. But that was the match for me. And
thanks,
kudos to both of you guys because wow, it's hard for me to go, okay, when you get a card like that to pick one particular match, I'm just like, what's the one that was most memorable? Like, okay, no, it was definitely your match for sure.
It was a very interesting show to work. There was about 9 matches. B Squared, who are two really talented blokes who are going to blow up this year. I've been calling it now. I was very emotional when I saw them debut as well. So I get why that was match of the night. But yeah, no, thank you for saying you enjoyed my match, man. Because if I don't make anyone happy, then I've got a problem. But if I at least make one person happy, that's a win for me.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people need to remember. You may not be appealing to everybody, but if you got that one thing, that one person, it's all that really matters.
Absolutely.
But speaking of B Squared, you like the last probably month or so, you've been sharing a lot of stuff on your social medias about them. Can you talk a little bit about your relationship with them?
Okay, so B Squared, they started around March, April last year, and we just clicked straight away. Like the first time I spoke to LDZ, man, he was a very reserved person, but then when he started letting his personality out, man, he's a funny dude. Jacob, so that's PJ Red. I actually had broken toes at one point last year. So both my big toes. I won't go into the injury too much. It was just a dumb backflip thing I did.
Okay.
I broke both my big toes, so I couldn't actually work. I was working, but I shouldn't have worked. Anyway, don't recommend that. So I was just sitting out at training. I was like watching people. I was just filming stuff, doing social media and all that stuff. Jacob came in just to have a suss of the training, and we just started talking. He's like, dude, where have you been all my life? And I'm like, bro, here. Like, this is a wrestling school. Like, if you want to talk wrestling, like there's about 10 of us right now that can talk your ear off about it,
Yeah, exactly.
I've sort of become like the Billy Gunn of the trio. Because if you look at the Acclaimed in AEW, you've got Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, and then you've got Billy Gunn, who's trying to be hip and cool. So they call me at training, they're known as the Banana Boys. I'm their Papa Split.
Oh my god, that's even better than Daddy Ass. But oh my god, can you hang on? I know I'm really, really skipping ahead on this one, and maybe I might control with the APW on this one, but will we ever see a tag team or even a faction with you guys doing something like that? That would be friggin' awesome.
We joke about having a John Stop faction.
Ooh.
We joke about it. I don't whether it actually happens or not. We'll have to see what the future holds.
Adrenalin Pro Wrestling, if you are listening right now, please make that happen. I want to see that faction right now. I think that's the merchandise in my head's just going bang like that. We need this sort of stuff.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I can't make any promises. But yeah, if we're lucky, you might see it sooner than you think.
Okay. All right. I'm getting goosebumps on this one. Oh, I love these kind of interviews because it's just infectious and juicy, and I can't wait for the future on this one. I really can't. Finally, just because we're almost at the end of all this, what is next for JSA?
Oh, all right. So I've got a few things that I want to get done. I've got a few things in the works as well. So, I'll be at APW presents PandAmonium 2.0 featuring Sammy Guevara, Ty Conti, Richie Taylor's on the card. So I'm going to be opening up as in the pre-show. Haven't been told my match yet. I don't know if it's 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 6-on-6. I don't know yet, but we'll find out. I'm also making an appearance at VPW on the 18th of Feb. So check them out as well. I've got an international booking in the works. I can't talk too much about it because we still need to confirm dates, but we're working on something. If it happens, it's going to be really dope. Stuff that I want to do within APW, I want to I'd like to win championship, right? Like, I think that's why every wrestler gets into the business. They want to be the guy, right?
That's right.
Not for my own ego, though. Like, I feel like the JSA character would definitely thrive with a championship associated with them. So whether it's the Legacy, whether it's the Heavyweight, whether it's Breakout, hell, whether it's a tag team belt, I don't care. Like, I know I have enough self-belief and passion to elevate any championship.
Why don't you make your own championship?
Give me 2 seconds.
Okay. This should be interesting.
It's so funny that you say that.
Yeah.
This is the JSA Bantamweight Championship.
Oh my god.
So I used to do Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
I don't really do it much anymore, but yeah, I got this belt made. It's just the Bantamweight Championship because I love banter.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah.
Maybe we can bring that into a future storyline or something like that. That'd be really cool.
There's there is an idea floating. It hasn't been looked at for a while, but yeah, we've got some ideas about that.
Beautiful. Now we're gonna ask the normal staple question that we ask at What If It's Cool? What is something you find cool that nobody else does?
Living in a giant EB Games.
Yeah, I can see. Wait, so do you work at eBay or you just collect all that sort of stuff?
This is a collection. I'm talking collecting. I know this is a channel where you look at all this cool nerdy stuff, but let's be honest, compared to if we look at everyone, it's not that cool. But I love it, so I do it. I've got a bit of everything. So like there's Pokemon over there. There's South Park down the bottom.
Yeah.
We've got a bit of Disney going on at the top. I've got some Star Wars. I've got wrestling ones. They're off screen though. Unfortunately, I should have rearranged this.
Nah, mate. It looks cool for what it is. I'm just trying to see who can I see up there that. So we got. Is it Avatar that's below the Sonic stuff?
Yeah. I've got a bit of Avatar. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all pretty cool, and yeah, it's not. It's I don't know. I think it's becoming more cooler for a lot of people to have pops. Pops at the same time,
but to this level, because most people stop at around 15, 20.
How many have I got actually? Hang on. Oh yeah, no, I've got about 20. Yeah.
Yeah, like most people stop around there because it gets a bit out of hand, and it did.
Oh my god!
I've built 4 of these black shelves that are behind me.
Wow!
And I need to keep buying inserts and stuff. But yeah,
okay.
I've sold a bit though. That's why it's a bit empty over there. But slowly redecorating. We'll find something new there.
Nice.
Lego's cool.
Lego will never not be cool. It's always awesome. Yeah,
absolutely.
So finally, where can all our listeners and watchers find you on socials?
Okay, so I'm pretty active on Instagram, so John Stop Action. You can find me on Facebook as well. Just look up John Stop Action. Twitter, John Stop Action. Everything's John Stop Action.
Fair enough. All right, John. Well, good luck with that. Oh my god, I've already forgotten what the show's called. PandAmonium.
PandAmonium 2.0.
I'm sure you're going to be killing it there, and also good luck with the USA tour that you're going to be doing. Hopefully everything works out. Let us know so we can promote it for you, and can't wait to see what's next for you, mate.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Dan.
No worries, bud. And that's it in that episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Want more from What If It's Cool? Make sure to check out our YouTube channel where you can find the latest episodes of Mukbang Around, Reaction, and of course, the Vlogcast. And don't forget to follow us on all our socials. We can be found at What If It's Cool. Keep that support coming. And until next time, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.